Don Toliver has quickly become one of the most unique voices in the modern hip-hop. While most people recognize Don Toliver for his unique vocal style, there is one key reason for his success: the insane production behind his music. And with his latest album, OCTANE, it's no different. So today, we're going to break down the production behind OCTANE, uncover the techniques that make this album stand out, and then use those same ideas to create our own 100% OCTANE-inspired beat from scratch. So let's take a closer look at the dreamy, futuristic, and psychedelic production behind Don Toliver's OCTANE sound. Overall, OCTANE has a very catchy and melodic sound. To start our beat, I picked down these two very simple chords just to make a solid foundation for the melody. Essentially, these chords, they are very simple. This is just an F major ninth. This one is a D sharp minor ninth too. So very simple, nothing too crazy. The only thing to build a minor chord, the only thing that you have to do is skip 2 notes, then skip 3 notes, then skip 2 notes again, then skip 3 notes again. And for major chords, it's the opposite. So it's skip 3 notes, skip 2, skip 3, skip 2. And that's it. This chord progression is great, but as I said before, OCTANE has a very melodic sound, and Tuition has one of the most unique melodies I've heard in a minute. This loop was made by Rio Leva, and he actually broke down the melody on his Instagram. And he used this technique to slide the whole chord, and I wanted to do something very similar in this beat, but not with the whole chord. So to make this section of the melody, I also took inspiration from my favorite song on this album, Secondhand. Am I supposed to let you go? In this track, you can hear this up and down melody that is really crazy. So I used the same notes from our chord progression, added some slide notes, and built this melody. So essentially what I used was use the notes in the scale just up and down. So I knew, like, for example, D sharp here on the first chord, so I used D sharp. I also used G. It's not exactly on the chord, but it's just a semitone up. And for the slides, I wanted to make that list very repetitive notes, so I put the G in here. And then so this second part is actually on the first chord, the F, and the G is on the second chord, which makes everything sound more cohesive. And for the slides, I was just literally improvising, seeing what sounded good within. I knew that I wanted to slide up, and at the end I wanted to slide down. So to make the slide notes, what you can do is click on here and change the color. So for example, I put the 5, doesn't truly matter, and then the slide, you're gonna put the same color, and then it's gonna slide just one note. So for example, at the end here, we have like 3 sliders together, and it sounds like this. But if it was just like this was the 6th and this was the 6th, this would slide up this one and this would slide up this one. So it sounds completely different, and it's a very cool way to spice it up your melodies. For this sound, I use this Ocean preset that it's inside my Midnight Essentials, and it's one of my favorite presets inside this kit. Still on Secondhand, you can see that Don Toliver uses a lot of synth basses throughout this album. To make this melody sound like a full melody, I just copied the root notes from the chord progression and put them inside this preset inside Midnight Essentials. Take a listen. And still on Secondhand, you can hear this crazy section where he completely changes the sound of the synth that he's using. So to do something similar, I copied the same chord progression from the rest of the beat, and I also duplicated the last chord with a little note variation, which brings this fresh sound to the chord progression. To make this stand out, I used chorus, pitch drift to get this cool drifting effect on the synth, which completely changes the sound, and an EQ to get rid of the low end. To create this really cool build-up, I recorded myself moving the pitch knob down on my MIDI keyboard, and then I reversed that sound. Something that makes Don Toliver sound so unique is his ear candy. So to do something similar, I used the synth preset that I made inside Mini V4, and it's one of the presets from my upcoming kit. Take a listen. To make this type of ear candy, I just pass my hand across all the black notes on my MIDI keyboard, and this is a crazy trick for creating this type of sound. Since all of the black keys are in the key of D sharp minor, I just had it to pitch back down to my original key, which is C minor. And for this ear candy to shine, I just used tone flex with saturation, delay, reverb, and chorus, and I also added this compressor just to make the sound louder. Plus, I added some extra reverb from Hall of Vintage Verb that it's my favorite reverb. Now our melody is finally done, and real quick before we make it to the drums, if you've been liking all the sounds I've been using in this video, you gotta check Midnight's Essentials. Midnight's Essentials is a collection of 9 kits packed with vocals, MIDI, instrument phrases, one-shot drums, percussion loops, analog bank, textures, and a lot more. If you want to check it out, you can use the code OCTANE for 30% off, and the link will be the first in the description. Anyways, let's get back to the video. OCTANE drums are very bouncy, but they're still very simple, and Don Toliver switches between these hard-hitting trap drums to more Afro dance style drums. So for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna make 2 different sections for the 2 different types of drums inside of this album. And for the hard-hitting trap section, I wanted to make some inspiration from E85, especially those reverse drums. So I chose a few sounds for Midnight Essentials and trying to play with as many perks as possible. And for the reverse sounds, I only reversed the kick just to make something similar to E85. Another trick that I used was loading the same hi-hat twice and putting delay on one of them, because when you make rolls like that, it gives the hi-hat a whole new sound and a whole new bounce. But it's still missing those crazy 808s. In opposite, you can hear how they switch between synth basses, hard-hitting 808s, and that laser type 808. So I did the same thing for our beat. When you're using 2 808s, you have to be careful for the sounds not to clash into each other. What I do here is stop notes. That's what I call stop notes. So it's basically a slide, but it just makes the whole note to stop. So if I took it off, listen how much muddy it would sound. See, it wouldn't just stop. To help this transition better into the song, I also added this drum fill and a few risers. Now, to make the final Afro drum section of our beat, I really wanted to do something similar that you can hear in secondhand. To do this type of dancey drums, I loaded up this perk loop just to give some guidance to the drums. After that, I loaded up this really cool rim sound and tried to keep it very bouncy and simple. I kept using the same perks that I've used in the last section, but I just switched the snare to a clap just to bring something new at the end. I also added drum fills to make this transition sound smooth and dope, and this is how it sounds. And to finish it up our beat, I just rendered this Afro section and put it through Cymatic's Origin to downgrade the sample rate and make it feel more like this filtered perk loop. Then I chop it the bass, the main chords, and the perk loop just to fit everything together and have this breathing kind of effect. And with that, our beat is finally finished. Quick thing, before we listen to the whole beat, if you like this video, please subscribe and give it a like so I can keep making more videos like this. And again, if you like all of the sounds that I've used, press link in the description. Now, let's listen to the whole beat. And if you want to see the secret production behind So So Camera's sound, click this video right here.